hands if you know that Jesus isn't worthy.
Everybody lift your hands if you know that Jesus is worthy.
Lift your hands, Jesus is worthy. Open up, let's give.
Open up and give a praise. Let's do it in the hurt.
If you love him, let's glory.
If you love him, let's glorify him. So
Glorify him. Say rejoice. Somebody scream. Let the people look on. Let the people look on. By you, will. Say, oh, thy Lord, I will rejoice and night. This is the day. This is the day that the Lord has made. Somebody say, are you ready? For the truth and fame of the enemy, all of it destroyed. Praise and praise and praise. Are you ready?
See peace come, not like pray when you feel peaceful. You know what I mean? And
Right.
so
I'm still alive cause you saved me. Once again, G.O.D. Time after time, you the only.
Hey family, so we are here with another installment, another episode, another rendition, another session, whatever word you prefer, of Heart-to-Heart. And we are here, you know, my beautiful wife, Pastor Tiffany, who's rocking out with me. And we also have some of our favorite people in the building. Absolutely. We got Larry and Karolyn Banks with us today. Faithful Heart Church members and friends of ours. And today we are talking about marriage. But before we get into that, I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping and let y'all know what's coming up and what's happening at Heart. So next week, we have our volunteer appreciation. If you are a member of an impact team, if you have volunteered or done anything at Heart Church, and I don't want to say not get paid, but I guess not get paid.
That's what volunteer means. That's what volunteer means.
Yeah, we are servants of the Lord. We want to pour back into you, and so we want you to go ahead and sign up using the information that's below with the QR code, or you can go directly to the website. Sign up. We are finalizing plans, so you will see all of the details on the sign up sheet, and so make sure that you do that. Then every Wednesday we have restarted Heart of the Matter, our Bible development sessions, and it has been amazing. We literally had our first one before, and then we also had a second one last Wednesday, thanks to Minister KJ. So by the time y'all see this one, Pastor Tiffany will be leading the next one, and so you do not want to miss it. So make sure that you tune in every Wednesday at 6:30 for that. And we will be back in the building on first Sunday in October. So we want you to be there. October happens to be Clergy Appreciation Month.
It is.
So for everybody that's wearing a collar, wearing the weight of the collar, it is your
Or not
month.
wearing it.
Or not wearing it, because we don't wear it. We wear the weight of the hoodies at Heart Church. Congratulations and God bless you for everything that you do. So I think that's it. I think we could dive right in, babe. It's handing over to you.
Yes.
What we doing?
Okay. So hey y'all.
Hey, what's up?
All right. So let me just ask just a quick question. How long have y'all been married so the people know?
It's been 24 years.
Okay, all right. I was like, get it right.
Everybody look at the husbands every single time.
You get it. You said you get it wrong.
I'd be like, what?
So,
wait.
so for the record, I use a cheat code. We got married in 2000.
Yeah, it makes it easy.
So whatever the year
that's
is another year. So yeah.
That's genius and whack at the same time.
That's very easy.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay, so they've been married for 24 years.
2000.
And that's amazing. So I'm really glad that they're here because, one, a lot of people don't make it
Yes.
to
We don't have any.
24
We don't have any
like-
clap sound emoji, so I'm gonna go ahead. And clap
Yes,
that one in. Yeah.
that is something to be applauded.
Yes.
Like that is a blessing. And that's even just goals for us. I'm
sure.
like, that is.
Yeah, because this 9 wasn't easy. 24. I
I
was like,
know.
you're not even
I'm
halfway
like,
there yet.
not
Like,
even halfway there. So, yeah. So they have all the keys, the jewels, the nuggets, all the things. So I'm really looking forward to today because I'm gonna be sitting here
Yeah, taking
notes.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
remember what Karolyn said? Like,
you're gonna be throwing it in my face.
yes,
Oh, that's what you're
yes,
doing. Okay.
yes. So okay, all right. So good context. 24 years, and we've been married for 9 years.
Yeah.
So okay, so we're at different. Thank you.
Yeah.
Clap for that too.
We got the decade coming up.
Yeah.
Tiff already got us on an island somewhere. She's like, "Oh,
We're doing something.
something."
We're gonna do something but
Celebrate,
pretend, get into the double digits. All right, so let's do like a little icebreaker, okay? We're gonna just like kind of shoot some questions, and y'all can just answer them, right? So we'll shoot questions about you all, as far as like you all in marriage, and then just let us know, okay?
All right.
So
Here we
and
go.
you can pick up some because I don't have them all
Okay.
together, but I have a couple, okay? All right. So who's most likely to fall asleep first?
Oh, you that guy. Okay.
All right.
That's me.
Yeah.
Who is the cleanest?
It's the rock high. It's the people's eyebrow.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Right.
Who cooks the most? All right. Who spoils the kids the most or is most likely to give in?
Oh man, you answered it for all of them.
All right.
That's good. That's
You
good.
got me?
Yeah. So, who is the most likely going to be the one that the kids go to for an answer though?
We go to her.
Oh, they want
Okay.
a mom. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
And who's most likely has the last say? If it's a tiebreaker decision needs to be made.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
All
done.
right. Okay.
All right. Well, cool.
Oh, I got one more.
Okay,
Who
all right.
picks the restaurants mostly?
We call Erica.
Oh,
Shout out to Erica.
Erica.
Name drop it. Yes.
That's hilarious. That's awesome. Okay.
She keeps us connected.
I love
She's
it.
a
I
connect.
love
Yeah.
it. Well, look, that makes
Yeah.
it very easy.
There you
then.
go. Yeah. That's good. I love it.
All right. Awesome.
So yeah, so I guess we could go ahead and jump in real quick. That was just a fun little tidbit. I guess we could have did the same answer for us too, but
Yeah, we could have.
I don't even remember all the questions. So
Yeah,
it's all good.
but it's okay. It's
Right.
it's about them.
Yeah,
It's about
absolutely.
them today.
So as y'all know, we've been kind of teaching on marriage the last 2 Sundays. Well, technically 3. We kind of interrupted with back to with Homecoming Sunday, but we've been talking about marriage, and I started off talking to the husbands first, and wanted to kind of give some keys. We was calling them the keys to being a better husband, and then I challenged the wives as well last Sunday to try to get some keys. What's
Why you?
It was quiet. It was quiet that Sunday.
We talked afterwards.
It was
I wasn't keep it to myself.
You're right. So
I share what he said.
right. Speaking of which, Tiff was like acting like she like heard the message, but then was like throwing the points back in my face. She was like, "That's all right. I'll be a line. Since I need to align." And
I mean, I listened to it, so
You
I
did.
did. That lets you know that I listened to it, and
Right.
I heard you. So right, I've been talking about it all week. I'm like, yes,
Oh yeah, she's
Right.
like, yeah, I'm reaffirming.
Right.
I'm reassuring
sure,
you.
yes,
Yeah,
all
I
of
was
that.
like,
yes,
I'm trying.
yes.
okay.
Day by day.
That's
Right,
dope.
that's all we can do.
That's dope. And most of those points for both of those sermons, some of them came out of lived experiences, a lot of them came out of the Bible, but they were all birthed out of things that I've seen people be challenged with in their marriage or whatever, right? So I guess my first question to y'all is like, what are some of the things, just personally, so this is just talking about you coming into marriage, was like an adjustment for you personally? Like what was some of the things I don't want to just call it just challenges. Maybe there were some beautiful things, some benefits or whatever. But what were some of the things that's like, oh, I wasn't ready for this, or I wasn't expecting this, or that marriage kind of presented for you personally?
So, do you want to
Go
go
ahead.
first?
Oh no, go ahead,
Oh.
because it sounds like you have an answer.
Right.
Well, this one, and a lot of people probably can relate with it, is although we moved in together before we were married, but I'm still considered that the beginning
Part
of
of
it,
it,
right?
yeah.
Part of it
Yeah.
is, first bringing together two different household experiences.
Talk.
We agreed on the ketchup going in the refrigerator, so that was okay.
Oh, that's good.
right.
Does not everybody put ketchup in?
No,
But-
They don't.
It's crazy.
They don't.
They
do
I don't
not.
understand.
Oh,
I don't
they,
understand
like
either.
they use it
It's
and then
the
put it
thing.
back in the
Yes.
pantry.
Yes.
I'm not judging for anybody who a pantry
'Cause
people.
Ketchup is supposed to be
It
cold.
says
just didn't know that.
refrigerate after opening.
I just
It
didn't
really
know that.
does.
I didn't
Oh, yeah.
Look,
know.
that solves arguments right there.
It's
okay.
a thing.
It is a thing.
But you just
No judgment.
where you put where things go at in which
I
cabinet
forgot about that. That
in
was so
the
long
household.
ago.
Like I would put things in one place, she would put things in another place, and then I got to the point where this where compromise comes into play,
my goodness.
and it was like, okay, like this can be a battle every day that I will lose. So just like, you know what, I'll make it work, and I'll compromise here. That was like, I'll say that was in the beginnings.
Right.
Yeah.
That was something that was like,
What is it about your personality that made that a thing for you? Like why? Like because some people be like, oh, I don't care where she puts the stuff at. Like, what is it about you that's like, oh no, I put it here? Or you like?
yeah.
Are you kind of like OCD like me? Or are you
All
like okay?
day, yeah. Everything goes like this.
Everything
you
has
know?
a place. Yeah,
everything has a
absolutely.
place, and if it's not in that place, then it's like
Yep.
I'll bow out.
Absolutely.
But I had to bow out. But normally it's like, no, it's supposed to go here. It goes
Right.
here.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good. That's good.
I don't even
Alright.
remember that. I'm trying to think. I was just thinking the fact that we were babies pretty much
How
when
old
we
were
got
y'all
married.
When y'all got married? If you don't mind
Let's
me
see. I guess
Okay,
I was 22. Wait,
thought I was
we said
22.
24. So, yeah, I would have had to
23.
been 22. So you was
23.
23. Oh wait,
Nope.
it was in February. So
We was in our early 20s.
yeah.
20, wow. 22, 23.
Wow.
Yeah.
It might have
So
been
y'all
21,
just trying to get
22.
to know your own self at the same
Yeah,
time getting to know
yeah.
somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, cause I kind of take things as they go, anyways. I don't like to ruffle
Yeah.
Right,
feathers
right,
too
right.
much, so I've put that. It's in the sea of forgetfulness, whatever happens.
Right.
Except for where the cereal
Right.
boxes go, but yeah.
Well, we don't even have cereal.
Yeah, I don't know. What's something for us? Like I think one of the things for me coming into marriage that I wasn't really ready, because my parents was married my whole life, so it wasn't like I didn't have some concept of what it was like. And seeing my dad and my mom compromise and see them, have arguments or see them make up, like it was nothing that really wasn't like too surprising. But I think what I didn't really have was the tools to be able to do that on my own, right? So I saw that it was needed, but it was really hard for me to communicate frustrations. And, because like you, Karolyn, I'm like, okay, let's just keep the peace. Like, I ain't going to trip over this.
Yeah.
But why are you still doing it? Like, for real though, you ain't figured it out yet? Or trying to find like a nice way to do it, to say it. Being like, oh yeah, like don't worry about that. I'll go ahead and get that. Don't worry about it. And it's like, no, I got it. It's like, no, for real, I got it. Don't, because I don't want to ruffle feathers. So I think trying to communicate hard things was definitely not something I was ready to do. I never had to have hard conversations with my friends. I never had to have hard conversations at work. It just wasn't something that was built in me to be able to have hard conversations. So
And I feel like we're still kind of learning that, honestly,
for sure.
because unlike Merrick's parents, my parents divorced, so I didn't really have much of an example. Like they, got separated and divorced when I was young, and so I don't know how to have a hard conversation either, because I didn't see that, and so I'm like, okay, so
Right.
I mean, I'm definitely. I ruffle feathers, so we're very different. But yeah, so it was, but then so me learning to compromise too. 'Cause
Right,
I'm just
yeah.
like, what? But this is what I want, so I don't.
Yeah.
Why? Like, it shouldn't be. Why are we even talking about this? This is what I want, and I'm the wife. Happy wife, happy life. Like, I don't understand.
Right,
So.
right. And I feel like that's what we was really trying to touch on in church is like a lot of people. I think the idea about marriage is about putting up a mirror to yourself, right? Like you legit have somebody who is there to make you see yourself all the time.
Yeah.
But the trick is, or the enemy, I feel like the trick is that even though you're looking at yourself, it's so easy to blame the person that's showing the reflection.
Yeah,
So you're yelling at the mirror. It's like,
Wow.
I'm revealing, like this person just revealing that you got OCD tendencies because every time that they move the cereal box and you getting pissed and it's like, but really it's just showing you like, I got an issue with this and I need to probably work. But it's so much easier just to get mad at her for moving the cereal boxes. Like that's an easier argument than doing it. And it's like, if you loved me, if you knew me, you wouldn't move these boxes.
Yeah.
Versus, I need to go work on this weird tendency to have things in a certain place all the time, right? And so, so that was one of the things that came up as far as dealing with marriage with yourself. I'm wondering for you all, at what point did you ever get to a point where you wanted your marriage to end, or you felt like it'd be easier being by yourself?
No, I would say I never came to that conclusion. One thing you made me think of is that whole mirror thing is, I know, like, it was probably only within the last couple of years where I just finally was, like, at one point I was just, like, praying, like, Lord, change him. And it wasn't to the point where I was like, okay, God, what's in me that why we can't come together on this one little thing. So just really focusing on how to change my heart and then reflecting those things that I want to see different and even communicating those things. Because, like you were saying how you don't like conflict. I think it's only been, that's another thing that's even been like in the past couple of years where I'm just finally starting to like not hold stuff in or like say exactly what it is, not assuming, he gonna figure it out because he's not. He's not a mind reader, and neither am I. Right.
Real talk. How about you?
Yeah, no, never. There was never a moment that never questioned. Yeah, Carol's my person. She's
now, do we get on my nerves sometimes?
Oh
yes.
Yeah, but not to the point where it's like, like
I'm out of here.
No. Sometimes when we do see, when relationships or marriages fail, it hurts my heart, and I think it really messes with her as well.
Yeah, we have the same, like we want everyone to work it out, and we just feel sad. Like we understand, like everybody can't work it out, but it really, I think we be more broken up than they be broken up.
Right, because it's like, all right. Like we said, we 24 years in. Nothing about that 24 years was easy.
Yeah.
Did we enjoy each other the entire time? Totally did. Yeah. But during those times, like we feel it's the way that you meet those situations, and that's when you grow and you actually get better. It's like, all right, once you overcome something, an issue you have within there that can be that point of when people decide to just eject out the relationship, that's when you grab it and move on. But
we never had that thought.
That's so cute.
I'm sorry.
No, that's not sorry. That's nothing to be sorry about. I think I think that people try to compare their journeys with other people's journeys, and so that's what I love that y'all are being like, that wasn't our reality, but it doesn't mean that's not a reality, right? And there are people struggling in marriage. Like, I think some people get to a point where they will be like, oh yeah, we're not supposed to be in this place. Like, this is not like Karolyn and Larry like never got to a point where they felt like they wanted their marriage to end. So if we feel that, then that must mean that it's not working. Versus it being like, well, that's their journey, and they've had other challenges that you might not be able to deal with. They've been graced in a certain area to do that. but you may have, this may be your journey, and all of it is included in this like weird, wonderful thing called marriage or whatever.
Yeah. And like you said, everyone has a different story. So it's like with
Right.
you all getting married at a younger age, and then like other people, like I'll say like us, like we got married,
Older.
older.
Sitting our ways.
And we had our careers set. We
Right.
had
Yeah.
We had our own.
we had our own places.
stuff.
We had all of our
Yeah.
own stuff. So it was like, you get to
that's different.
Yeah, so we're like, I mean,
I don't need you.
yeah, like
Like, I
Right.
like you.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I've
And-
done this like by myself before.
Right.
I
Like,
can
I can
do
do
it
that all by
again.
myself.
Yeah, exactly.
For real, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for us, whereas we did it early, we went through the challenges of being parents in college,
Yeah.
being married, and getting through and starting off at the beginnings of a career.
Yeah.
In a place where we didn't have family like nearby, and it was like,
yeah.
Yeah.
but
We made it.
We made it
Yes. Yes.
because some people would
We
be like, you know
almost
what?
done.
Exactly. Because
Yeah.
exactly. Like I do know. Like some people who do get married very early, like that's not their story, because they were young, and then it's like, hey, I didn't get a chance to live or do this,
Yeah.
and so again, like I said, that's a testament to y'all and to God.
Yeah. And one thing that
Yeah, lots of
because, like,
God.
Lots of God.
and that's interesting too, because like I think like within the framework that we've been talking about, it's like, okay, we're talking about marriage and ourselves, but then there was another aspect of like marriage in marriage, or at least like how do you manage your relationship inside of your marriage. And I think one of the things that you guys literally just made relevant to me was this idea of, it sounds like you guys found a lot of like solace and refuge inside of your marriage. So like life is happening around you, you're going to school, you got a kid, and it seems like y'all were able to like lean into each other during those times and find solace in that way. And I think y'all being married young and being able to build in that way, it's like, okay, we started from the bottom together. We know what it's like to go in. We've come up together. Whereas like in our story, like we had never really been, if you want to consider like either like financially or just like career wise, like we hadn't really hit bottom together. Like we started off on our own paths. We were here.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if we always looked into our marriage to like problem solve initially.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think most of our problem solve is like, okay, I'm gonna do what I did before I knew you. So I know how to grind. I know how to get this, to reach out to these
Right.
people. It's not like we were like leaning on each other. It's like we were like benefiting from each other having a partner, but not like what are we gonna do? It's like, okay, I'm gonna do what I did the last time. You do what you did the last time. What would you say like are some of the benefits of being so dependent on your spouse? But then also, and I know this is a little deep question, so if you need time, it's cool. But also, like, what are some of the challenges with being like so dependent? Because I think that's really what people are scared of, is really leaning on somebody, like putting myself in a position where I need somebody else. Like, what are some of the ways that you guys have like benefited from that, or what does that look like for y'all in your marriage, like leaning on each other?
I'll defer to you first this time.
I know, because I'm just trying to think. Because like we just never, like some things we just never really separated. So like like he made a lot of sacrifices, especially in those younger years, like because so I finished school, and unfortunately he didn't get to finish. He just went and got rewind. We had our daughter before we got married.
Right.
So he went and got a job.
Yeah.
I finished school.
Wow.
And then because of where I went to school, I had a co-op, so I ended up working for that company. So he made a lot of sacrifices in the beginning. Yeah. So he sacrificed during that time, and well, I still am a CPA, but in public accounting, like during tax season, it's like those late hours. He was at home with the kids. Like they would be doing activities, going to the mall, and I'm at work.
Right.
And
Yeah.
looking sad,
Yeah.
like working. And they were like, Daddy took us to the mall and we did
Right,
this,
Daddy
this,
was a
this.
hero,
We went
like,
to the
yeah.
mall, we took pictures, and
Right.
I'm like, man,
Yeah,
I
right.
want to have fun too.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
but he, like, I think about these things a lot of like the sacrifices that he made, and just even his patience with me, because like it's some things where I'm just like, wow, I would have been like, I'm out of here.
Right.
But he
Right.
was is and was so patient. So I don't I mean the like it's all the benefits. Like I never like it's just one of those, like, we just taking it by day and like
Right.
don't really even fully think about it, I think, all the
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I was going to start with just, she depends on me to prepare the meals. If I don't do that,
Right.
I do.
her feelings is like, what I'm going to eat.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
That's my number one
I
thought.
know. But
Yes.
it's like, I'm in the same boat as you, Karolyn.
Yes.
I'm like,
I'm
hey,
the cook.
I will cook, but I'll be like, what do you want though? Like, and make sure it's something that I can make, because that's about a list of 5 to 10 things that's on that list.
Make good breakfast.
Yeah, there you go.
and then with me recently changing up my eating habits, I've been doing intermittent fasting.
Oh, yeah.
My feeding window was so short, so she was like, what I want to do for dinner.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'll be like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll make something.
So I gotta
We
cook and
eat.
smell this food.
Yeah,
And I'm not eating.
what I started doing now, just for her, was preparing it. What I would eat in the middle of the day is what she'll get when she gets home.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
and then she'll be like, "Oh, thank you." I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
you." So,
That's dope.
let's see what else with this.
Is there anything that you depend on her for that's like kind of, and I don't mean it in like no
Well,
major way, but
Yeah,
just
I'm simple.
yeah.
I'm real simple. She know it. Just depend on her to just be around, give me that smile, let me know that whatever I'm doing or working on, that I'm doing a pretty good job. Give me that
Yeah, the affirmation.
affirmation
Yeah.
there, because
Yeah,
if I do something, I'm like,
huge.
babe, I need this. This
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
what's going to.
I will admit I'm not always good at that. So
Yeah.
Sunday's message was on time. That's why.
Yeah.
I just
Same. Yeah.
her dad and brother were coming out, and I was like, oh, there was some projects that I had in the house that I need to get done.
You did a good job.
And I did it within that. Week. The week going up to it, it was a full remodel, paint,
Ooh.
and installing the toilets.
You did do a
whole
lot.
thing.
Mount stuff
I was
and everything.
focused on something else,
Yeah.
and so I didn't express my appreciation. I will admit that.
I'm like, and then I was making little videos with capture,
I don't
and I would send it to the family. I was like,
Music,
yo,
yeah.
check it out. It was music,
Right.
the pan to the left and the pan to the right. It was the reveal stuff, and I'm like,
Yeah, HGTV.
I'm like, give me something. I'm like,
Right.
hey, and actually, I had I texted her, I was like, it was a long message. I was like, babe, so like.
I think I responded okay. I did not help the situation.
I was like, you about to lose me, babe, because like, you know what I just did and what I just saved us by doing
Right.
all this stuff.
Yeah.
No,
Why
I do.
does that matter to you? I know why it matters, but I just want the people to know why does those words, the simple words, but like why do
Yeah.
they mean so much?
Because it comes from my person.
Your
And
person.
It comes from my person, and
Yeah.
we just like a dog. We look for approval and like, hey, did we do a good job? Did you appreciate this?
Yes.
I just want to make you, whatever I do is to make you happy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? And that's so I depend on her to
Yeah, give you that fuel.
give me the fuel, so
Yeah.
I push me to the next one.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's so good.
Not to
That's
be so
good.
sappy, guys. I'm sorry.
No. I think it's good for even me to hear, because like Karolyn, I'm not the best at that,
Yeah.
because, and Merrick has share with me like, hey, like, I
Yeah.
need this. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, because I'm like, okay, well, it's done. So, okay, like, you did what you were, like, supposed to do. So, like, okay, like, that's fine. But I do have to catch myself. And so, yeah, the sermon that you did with the wives, I was like, okay, like, that
Yeah.
really, I was just like, okay, God, I gotta
know,
get it
right?
together.
Exactly.
But I do, and I'm realizing more. And I think we were talking the other day. I think we were watching something. I don't know what we were watching on TV, and I was just like, I said, "Oh my gosh!" I was like, "Y'all," like meaning men. I was like, "Y'all are really just like fragile," and I was, I was joking, but I was serious too. I was like, "Y'all really do need." So I think with the sermon and whatever we watching
It
on
was
the show,
reasonable though.
yeah, we watching the show Reasonable Doubt, but I forget what part it was, but it was just like,
He was talking about his dad. How
well, we
his
don't
dad
talk about
used
too
to.
much. I ain't trying to plug
Oh
them.
yeah.
I ain't paying for this. I ain't,
It's all right.
yeah,
Yeah,
some show,
free ad.
which is good, right? I'm like, I'm not, but yeah, but it really made me see like how important that is, and even like the things that I do depend on from Merrick. So Merrick takes care of like paying everything. Like I'm just like, okay, how much do I need to like? How much would be?
I make
like,
the payment. I don't make all the money. So
yeah,
just so you know that.
But
yeah.
for me, like our lights will be out.
Right.
They will be off because I just don't be thinking. I'm like, I don't think about it. I'm like, okay, cool. So, but I'm like, all right. But I don't have to think about it every month. Like we have a house. Thank you, God. Because again, they would be sending us notices. we'd be on the street because I would forget to pay it. And it's not that, so I'm heavily dependent on Merrick for that. But because it's like, that's something that we just kind of already like just kind of established. I don't just readily say, oh, thank you. I just like, okay, well, that's what you're supposed to
That's
do.
your job,
Yeah, like that's your job.
Yeah.
Or even like taking out the trash. Like, that's what you do.
Yeah.
But, so I don't really
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
thank you to all of that. So I'm saying it
Yes.
publicly to you.
Oh,
Yes.
good.
Thank you.
Okay.
Y'all see it, okay?
See,
Thank you, babe.
You're welcome.
But I am trying to get better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I feel you.
Like in all seriousness.
Yeah, no, to Larry's point though, like, and this is just my theory. I don't have anything to back this up. But I do believe that, well, actually, I do got a little bit of Bible to back it up. So I think that the whole Samson and Delilah situation, where Delilah kept trying to get a hold of what Samson's secret was as to how he was, where his strength was.
Right.
And then he was like, oh no. Like he kept saying it was all these different things or whatever like that, not really being vulnerable around her, not opening up around her, not giving her his secrets, anything that could make him weak or look weak.
Right.
And it wasn't until she continued down this path of building relationship that he felt vulnerable enough to share his weaknesses with her. And I think when a man gets to that point of being vulnerable enough, we need someone to kind of like, now we're no longer basing how great we are off of material things. It's no longer about the car we drive. It's no longer about how much money we make. It's no longer because now I got my life with you. And so once I've let down my walls and now I'm trying to be vulnerable, I need you to put some coals in the fire because I don't have the things that I used to use to feel good about myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? I've given those up to make sure that we got formula and make sure that we, I've given away that life. And so I think part of that is like just trusting, I'm looking to my wife. And not to say you can't do it in an unhealthy way. I know some people some people rely fully like, okay, I need you to tell me I'm doing a good job to feel. This is not about dealing with insecurity, but it's just about the fact that I'm vulnerable enough now in your arms, like, so I need you to let me know, like, it's a safe space, and you do that by letting me know I'm doing a good job. So I definitely appreciate it. My wife I depend on her. It says everybody did their dependency. I really do depend on my wife to be able to put legs to my vision. Like, I will have, like, I see things that I'm like, oh, it'd be great if we did this. And then she'd be like, okay, so what you gonna do about it? So you haven't done this yet. So what are we doing? It's like, where are we going? We sign up? Like, I have all these good intentions. And my intentions are just that, intentions. There's been so many times I've been like, oh, I wanted to get that for you. She was like, well, why you ain't go get it? And I was like, that's a good point. I didn't, you know what I mean? Or so she's always booking the trips or talking about going to the conference, or even when we got this church started, like everything that we were doing to actually bring vision into reality, it's like it would not happen if it wasn't for Tiff. So now I've gotten to the point where I just tell her everything I'm thinking.
Nice.
And then I use her almost as my filter to be like, she'd be like, okay. Or she'd be like, okay, so what you gonna do? So what are we doing?
Yeah.
So when, did you write it down? Did you start, so thank you for because I would I would be a dreamer.
And I'll say another thing too. I have become the keeper of the calendar. So Merrick
the calendar,
people they'll be
yeah.
like, so y'all free? He's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I
Just
don't
ask
know.
Tiff.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
whatever she says, I go wherever she tells me to go.
Wow, this is the calendar person too.
Right.
Yeah, he was.
Well, I guess so. I kind of like, because if it's not on the calendar and it's supposed to happen, then
exactly.
it's not gonna
It
happen.
is right. It's not real. So, yeah.
So this might have been different for y'all since you've been parents since the beginning, and I know we gotta move. But like, how have children impacted your marriage, either for the better or worse? What are like some of the challenges with that? Have your children ever gotten y'all to beef or help y'all to reconcile or anything like that, whether they intended to or not?
Well, I would say with the kids in the picture, they were our major focus. We were pouring into the kids, and that was and for a while that was all we focused on in our marriage was the kids, and making sure that they weren't for anything, they had good experiences, that we were trying to bring up to amazing people, and they are. And it was like her parents live in California, and it was the one summer they started picking the kids up for the summer, and would take them for the whole summer.
Yes.
And that entire summer, yeah,
Love that.
But
But y'all was stuck
first-
we
with
were
each
so
other.
focused
The
into
first summer.
The first summer we
blew it.
was on the phone.
Sad.
We didn't have FaceTime back then, but
Right.
we were sad. All we kept doing was worrying about the kids the entire time.
They talked to us for 5 seconds about, okay, mom and dad.
Bye. They don't even care
And then
about
we'd just be sad or
Yeah.
whatever,
Wow.
right? And I think right at the end of the summer, somebody had
Yeah.
asked us out for something, and we was like, wait up. We can go do something.
Yeah.
And then
It was on after that.
I realized we would
It was on.
drop off at the airport, and they go to their flight, we go to our flight.
Yes,
And,
I love that.
That was the best. I think that helped us not focus so much on the kids anymore, and then be able to pour back into our relationship.
Yeah.
So those summers came in
Yeah.
clutch.
Thank
Yes.
you, grandparents.
Yeah.
Grandparents be helping
Yes.
men marriages out here for
yeah,
sure.
it was so clutch. I tell people, like, if you have that ability to do it, because it's a summer break, and
Yeah.
you did your job with those kids going to school the whole
Right.
year.
Right.
Yeah.
Now
Mom and
it's
daddy gotta have a life
now the
too.
summer, now mom and dad
Yeah.
have a life.
Yeah.
But I think the lesson we learned from that really was that, and I'd say this scripture, I said this to him earlier, where it's like, what God put together, let no man put asunder, even those kids. So like,
Even those kids. I love that. Even those
That's
kids.
a word.
the
That's
kids
a
are
whole
like,
word.
mommy, daddy, and
Oh,
you gotta
my
have that
gosh.
mommy, daddy time without them as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
So even if you don't get a whole summer, if you can get a babysitter for a night,
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
go
You
do
just
mommy
free-
and daddy things.
You freed a whole lot
Yes.
of people with that. That is
Yes.
real. That's so good.
But then again, also with having kids, it was again that whole two different households.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
How to raise the kids.
disciplining,
Discipline,
just
yeah.
teachings.
Yeah.
I was a Santa Claus house. She's not a Santa Claus house,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Same. I'm Santa Claus.
I'm like,
Yeah.
come on,
Man,
Yeah.
my parents told us from the earliest of ages, Santa ain't real. I work for everything that's under this tree. Christ is real.
I'm with you, Larry. I was
And
Santa
I was
Claus
like,
too
they
for a
don't need
little
to know.
bit.
I was like,
Yeah, it was
I still
a-
look forward to
And I was like,
Christmas.
no, it's the magic.
it's the magic,
Yeah.
We didn't
Yes.
celebrate Halloween. We just went out to eat.
Yeah,
Like, we didn't do none of that.
we didn't do Halloween
Yeah,
either.
so now my daughter's like, what are we going to be? I was like,
I'm like-
sanctified.
And I think because I didn't do it like that, I said, "Oh, when I have kids, we doing Halloween."
Oh my gosh. Every year it comes to this. It's like,
Yeah, see, we're not doing that. Elf on the Shelf wasn't a thing for us, so
Right,
we need the
yeah.
magic of Santa Claus.
Right.
And that,
Yeah.
that's,
I admit,
but-
I probably did deprive them of that because
Yeah.
I was like, I'm about to lie to these kids.
That's what I'm saying, and that's like I be going along with it, but I don't really be getting into it. I was like,
Yeah, he does not.
Yeah,
So
I don't.
I'm making some Christmas magic at the house.
There we go.
and Ava was smart. She was like, "Dad, is Santa real for real?" And I wanted to be like, "Girl, come over here, let me."
Like, yes, he is.
But I knew she was gonna ruin it for
I'm
her
like, yes,
sister,
he is.
and then her mom. I was like, it was gonna be desert.
Don't do it. I'm like,
storm
let's
in
just
that
get some
joint, so-
oat milk for Santa because Santa doesn't like regular milk.
I know.
And I'll be like, drink the milk, Mary.
I
Eat some
know.
of these cookies.
Tip be going, and then we forgot to get cookies last year, so she had like Santa,
I made a pound cake.
pound cake. So Santa had pound cake and oat milk.
Oh, wow.
It was crazy, but yeah,
funny.
no, that's good feedback around trying to build a marriage around your kids, and most of these things should be things that message. Definitely talk about them as much as you can before.
Oh, yeah,
you
that
get
would be-
married.
Yeah,
Like,
it's-
what are your expectations around raising children?
Yeah.
What do you how many children do you want? And people. That's a kind of a trick question because you never know how many you really want until you actually have
Right.
something. Like, hold
If-
on,
if
like,
you- how many did you have at the
I wanted to
beginning?
start in 5.
I
wanted to
no
start
from
in
the
5.
beginning.
I was like, oh
all
yeah.
right.
yeah.
I wanted to take them to the court. This
Oh
one
my
is
gosh.
this one be family. Like you had the Jackson 5 doing the music. We're gonna be athletes and gonna do it that way. But
no.
after that second one, and we was like this right in the chest.
Yeah,
I was like,
them daycare checks.
Yeah.
Can we stop now at
It's
2?
real.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think, but that's, also like just kind of going back to your point about talking about things like before marriage, like if you can. I think it is good, but then so much of it, you just have to experience it.
yeah.
And so you can talk all you want and talk about the theories, which again, I think it's good to do because at least it gets your mind to be thinking about things. But it's just like having a baby. Like, you don't know until you know. It's like, oh, yeah, this would be good for me to have this. And then baby comes and baby don't even use it. And you're just like, okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's good to have it on your mind. But it's something about once you're in the marriage, which, again, I think it just goes back. It goes back to the keys and things like that. It's like, okay, well, this may not have come up before. But now that it is, like, how are we going to tackle this in a way that is respectful, that is, a way that God is going to be pleased with, and all of that stuff. And that's just
No, that's real.
Yeah.
And I think what you want, even though your wants may change, so you may want 5 kids at first and then be fine with 2. But knowing that you want 5 kids initially, it really what you're trying to point to is what that reveals about you. So it's like, okay, this is what I want, but everything that I want is attached to something that I identify with personally, something about who I am. So is it like, I want 5 kids because I just love family, and that's what's really important to me? Do I want 5 kids because I just love, a bustling household, and that's what's important? You know what I mean? Like, if you say what you want, but then ask why, I think you can still achieve why, even if the wants change over time, and and I think a lot of people be like, oh, I want a ton of money and not have to worry about bills. And it's like, okay, is that a security issue for you? Do you, you know what I mean? Or is it, you know what I mean? Because everybody wants to be rich, but like, why do you want to be rich? Like, is it so that you could feel secure and safe and you don't have to struggle? Is it because you want a jet set? And what is it?
Philanthropy.
Philanthropy. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
So
good.
I was gonna say, well, I have a question, and you
Okay.
can, tie it back and,
Okay.
and put a bow on all of this.
Right.
So, how do you all handle or manage change or evolution in your marriage, right? Because, fundamentally, you are the same, you are who you are. But I imagine that over 24 years, you all have changed as individuals, right? Just life, right? We each go through our own personal evolution. So how do you all like communicate the change? How do you all grow with each other? Because I think, that's hard for a lot of people. And I think that can cause a lot of marriages, to break apart, because it's like someone has changed. I don't know this person anymore.
Right.
There's no communication about the change. There's no understanding or empathy. And then it's just like, okay, but like, how do you all grow with each other being two different people?
So I would say, I mean, the biggest thing really is communication, but I just know a funny and somewhat simple change that's more recent was, my lactose intolerance. I have decided that
Yeah.
I can't do cheese like that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he didn't take it too well.
Felt like
Because
you
he
lost
like
your
Most of the
best
he
major
friend.
likes
dishes.
making
Yeah.
fettuccine
Yeah.
and mac and cheese,
My
and I love that
Alfredo is
stuff.
all that.
It
Yeah.
don't love me.
Yeah.
And then
That's
so
hilarious.
he got over it, and so now he's like, okay, I'm gonna make fettuccine. Do you got your Lactaid?
Yes.
So like
He's
you
that
know,
vegan cheese.
once
Yeah.
he came together, now he helps me out by like making sure, oh, if we going out to eat, and he's like, okay, you got your pills with you, and so
That's good.
now we help each other
I
out.
mean, I got 2 other rooms I can sleep in. So
Right.
we're fine. It's fine.
But that was just like a simple one, but
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, it's just he didn't necessarily deal with that one that well. So, but just taking that time to like go back and process. So me telling
Yeah.
him, look, I love cheese, but cheese don't love me.
Yeah.
So we just gotta figure out this is like a new thing that we got to work on together.
Right.
So just putting it out there, communicating it.
She be eating pizza at work, but when she home, she want to eat pizza with us. I'm like, what's going on here?
That's this one right
That
here.
was,
I
like,
love
years
cheese,
ago.
But put some on my pizza though.
But I guess
Settle down.
I guess one thing that we're really that's really been changing and we both appreciate it, I would say, is our relationship with God. How we've grown even closer with God, and we take the times to actually share. We start having talks, and we weren't doing that before, and it's like it's rejuvenating. Just now we having conversations, just not necessarily growthful conversations, but conversations, on that level, and it's and I don't know. I'll say I don't know why, but favor from the Lord. But like I can hear his voice, and he speaks to me.
Yeah.
And one thing one day he was like, Larry, just say yes to Karolyn. And I was like, what? Like, what did I do? So she just started. She started this whole Zumba thing, and I'm not downplaying the same thing,
Right,
but
yes.
yeah,
Because
but
Big deal. Yeah.
she has now she went from like, Larry, I'm gonna do this class, I'm gonna do this. I'm like, okay. And after a while, she was like, wait a second, you saying yes too easily.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you? And I explained to her what happened, and she was like, okay, but you gotta let me know, because sometimes it was things that actually I didn't want her to do, and I was like, go ahead and do it, right?
Yeah.
And recently was, seeing it, what was revealed to me is how she's grown even more as a result of it, of me just saying yes, so easy and listening and recognizing the voice and sharing with her. So just seeing the next levels that we've achieved where we're at now is it's major.
Yeah.
That's very deep, and I'm glad you brought that up. And I'll just say this one little thing, and then you can take it back with me. But I'll say this: like every time that Merrick has said something, like I feel like God is telling me to do this, and I'm like. I'm like, okay, because which isn't like he doesn't do
I
it
don't
all
do
the
it
time.
often, Yeah.
Wow.
So that's why when I really know, like when he's like, I really feel like God, and it's typically
Wow.
something that's a little big, and I'm
Right.
like, okay, but every time I trust the God in Him, and I listen, like if I listen to God like through Him,
Yeah.
when I tell you like
Wow.
it just never fails, but it always blossoms into something else. Just kind of how you were saying, like it will blossom into something else that I never would have imagined or anything. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, but not everyone is at a level, whether they're married or not, to listen and to trust and to heed to God's voice, whether God is talking to you or talking to your spouse. And so for those of you all who aren't married, I don't have the ultimate key to marriage. I know communication is definitely like, if not number one, it is number two.
It's up there.
It is. But definitely, just on a spiritual level, trusting and listening for God in your marriage,
Wow,
whether it's
yeah.
within yourself, like you or within your spouse, that takes it to a completely different level.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It really
I
does.
agree. And I will say, as we close out and everything, I will say this. One of the things, and this is a pitfall of mine, I got really good at having a relationship with God outside of Tiffany before we got married. And then when we got married, it continued in. So for me, it was kind of like, like I prayed this morning, I read this afternoon. I'm a very fluid person when it comes. I'm not like so rigid where it's like every day at 6 o'clock I get up. You know what I mean? Like I'll talk to God in the shower, and then I'll talk. I'll talk to him on the road. If I hear a song, I'll cut the song down and start talking to God or listening. I'm just like, I don't really have a set time and a set way in that. And so I was building relationship with God outside of her, and hoping, believing, assuming that she had her own relationship with God. And when we talked about God, we really were just talking about like, it would sound something like, yeah, the Lord had told me that. It was almost like we're sharing, like, oh yeah, like, but not in regards to each other, not in regards to our household, not in regards to our It was kind of like, yeah, I'm feeling led to like take this class, or oh, I'm all right, cool, that's what's up, like, may God bless you, you know what I mean, like, as if we weren't living together. And I think that caused a lot of challenges and undue and unnecessary challenges in our marriage, because what we later found out is that Tiff would be spiritually depleted, or I would be spiritually depleted in a certain season,
Right.
and not believing that we could go to our spouse about that. Like, it would just be like we would just stop praying. And I don't know that she's not praying because I don't really pray with her like that. You know what I mean? I don't know that she's not reading because I don't read with her like that. You know what I mean? I don't know that she is losing her touch with God, or even, whatever, because I wasn't there to begin with. And then when I start talking God stuff in a season, and this is for anybody, when one spouse starts talking God stuff in a season where the other spouse is spiritually depleted, then it sounds like nonsense, and it's annoying, and it's frustrating.
Right.
Because now you're basically being like, God told, okay, well, God ain't tell you to take out the trash. God ain't like anything that you are frustrated with in that season. You like, oh, God's telling you to do more, but you can't even do the things that I need you to do. Because most of the time when we're spiritually depleted, it's often because either our marriage or something else, work, is sucking something out of us, right? So I say all that just to say how important it is, and we're still trying to figure this out. Like we haven't locked in like a specific time to pray. Like we tried to do mornings, tried to do evenings. You know what I mean? We're still trying to figure it out. But the times that we do, we're very much like trying to be intentional. Or if I do random, I will pray. I would just start praying for her. I've done that before. Like I'm just sitting next to her and I'll just start praying for her because I'm random as a mug. And so I'm like hoping that she'll just jump in my randomness, but I don't expect her to say anything. So
or even like how we're doing now, like we're like we're fasting together.
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
like,
oh Lord, that's the thing.
Yeah, but it's something that I mean we've done it like corporately together, but
like
never
at
like
church.
just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
us together.
Yeah, talking about it and everything like that. And I think inviting God into your marriage is one of the biggest things that I think could be a game changer for those who argue a lot. If you pray before you have a tough discussion, it tends to disarm the discussion before you get started. If you pray after you have a tough discussion, even though you might be barely holding hands, it tends to bring it back to a central point, and it disarms you from being on two different sides. And so if we could take away anything, it sounds like communication is at the top of the list.
Yes.
Not just having, sometimes you're not good at communication, but I would say at least just talk.
Yep.
Like start talking, even if you're not great at it. Because really it's the sharing of information. And then two, having a relationship with God. We say we're one in marriage, but having like separate relationships with God is like bonkers. It's like, like, you know what I mean? It's like, nah, we're one. He's going to talk to you concerning me. He's going to talk to me concerning you. And I think the third thing that came out of this is making sure that we keep each other first. So like you said, don't let no man, no kid, no
Even those
woman
kids.
tearing you
Even
asunder.
those kids.
Because it's funny that you mentioned it that way, and this last thing I'll say, it's funny that you mentioned it that way, because I think that that's the enemy's biggest
Yeah.
trick when it comes to marriage, is finding people to fit in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be like somebody trying to like take your woman or take your man. It could be work and your boss is constantly demanding of your spouse. It could be their best friend that they were friends with long before they knew you, and they feel more comfortable talking to them and being vulnerable with them than it is being with you. It could be your children. And it's so many ways for the enemy just to insert an in-law, like your mama just constantly, or your daddy, you know what I mean? Like, don't do this, don't do that. So I think that trying to edge people out in that way is super, super good. So I'm done. I don't know how to land a plane, but I'll just stop and just say thank
well,
y'all
we can
for
just
the
say
opportunity.
yes. Thank y'all, but thank y'all.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
this
thanks for having
is.
us.
Ew, damn,
I'm
this
just-
is fun.
This has been
This
great.
is great.
Like, I feel like we need to do like more of this. Like this feels good. This feels right. And thank you all for joining us. Again, whether you are married or yet to be, we pray that this was insightful, and we always going to give it to y'all real, like, and that's why we had them here, because we know they're going to be real too. And but prayerfully this kind of ties a bow on all the marriage talk that we've been having.
Yeah, and a good thing to do is to go back and look at the sermons
Yeah.
for context.
Oh, definitely.
If you're like, what movies are they talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Both sermons should be on our YouTube page, so go back and check
Yes,
those out.
and if you're married, look at them together. So
Yeah.
y'all both,
Side eye each other.
yeah.
All right, y'all
All
have
right,
a good
this was
one.
great. We're signing off. All right,
Peace.
bye.